Let there be light, and there was light. Words of the said God, Mother Eve. Of course, we are talking numerology here, and we are talking about the Holy Bible, but specifically King James Version of the Holy Bible. So I thought I would do something a little bit different now, and this may look familiar to you. It is God. It's the name of God in Judaism. Now, I have not got much in-depth knowledge about this, but I thought that I would really show how the name of God, how I have been looking at the gods in Genesis of chapter 1, and how the overall God, which is the said God, Mother Eve, but we have number 8, which is very significant in the phase that we are. So the God is really showing here as phase 8, if you like, where Mother Eve says, let us make man in our image after our likeness. So there is that 8, but it also coincides with what Mother Eve ate of the fruit. There is like an 8, but it's also 8 of the fruit. So we can see the similarities in language or sound here, but the numerical value also correspond very closely as well. So this is what I really want to show here. So overall that we have, I'm going to make reference to my notes here, and I so wish you could see this, but I'm just going to stick it here, and perhaps you will you can put the the camera on still so you can see what I'm going through here. Oh, by the way, it's this bottom part that I am looking at now. So that's the notes I have got here, and I thought I would just mess around with it and see how the numbers are showing up. So far we have looked at he, which equals 13. I think I could do with some contrast on my pen. Okay, so we can see 13. This is just what jumped at me, because 13 has been the God number, we could say, because H is 8 and 5, E is 5. Adding these together gives us 13. So this also is 13 right here, we could say, right here, because it's another he. Now, of course, these are probably pronounced in other ways, but we have yod here, and these are the main, because I know that they are, according to this here, we have 26 letters. Is it 26 letters or numbers? Oh, I'm gonna have to look at this. Or is it there are 26 alphabet, or there are 26, the total of, yes, okay. So there's a sum here is done on this here. There is a sum that it says the 4 spheres of the tree of life, because this is really the tree of life, and that occupy the middle pillar are numbers 1, 6, 9, and 10. And when added together, it totals 26. So 26 is really 8, adding these two together in numerology. And these spheres are from the bottom, the earth, the moon, the sun, and the throne of God. So there are 4 sections to this sphere, the tree of life. And so that corresponds with the number 4, as in the number 13 that we have been having quite frequently in our Psalms as the number for God. And God said, let us make man in our image after our likeness. I have these notes which I picked up over a year and a half, but I have not really delved into this because I really thought I'm just basing my teachings on Christianity and how it has impacted on my life, and really examining those teachings, and not really seeing or paying too much attention to having a comparison with Judaism or any other religion so far. But questions have been posed to me, for instance, in numerology. Well, how would you say that this corresponds to this, to other languages? Because we all are of God, we all have the same issues and concerns. So basically, I think that is a valid question. Okay, you were doing numerology and you were coming up with these fantastic answers, but how would you say that really fares in other language? So there I am now showing the correlation here with Judaism, God. We have seen for one that it's 26. It's of 26. It totals 26 in numerology, in how it has been calculated here, which is it's a different calculation to what I use, but it's 26. 2 plus 6 is 8. So we have 8 that we deal with. But basically, we can see that the two religions here, we speak of Mother Eve, which equals 5, when Mother Eve ate of the tree of life, or the tree of good and evil. We see that the word eat, E-A-T, because that's the thing that has put all of us in trouble, so to speak. And so we see 5, 1, 2. Adding these together, these numbers, gives us 8. So this is 8 we are talking about. Now, there was also something about, this is coming even clearer now, that the serpent had lied to Eve. Of course, now we have understood on close examination, because of course Eve said it was the serpent that beguiled me. That's the word, beguiled me, or tricked me, or lied to me. But basically, what we see has happened is that the fruit, the lying or the deceiving, was really where we have this 8. Of course, you could say 8, but the lying position is this way, depending on your perspective, your position of looking at 8. You can see it either standing up or being in a lying position. So this is what Mother Eve ate of the fruit. The word eat or ate is 8. And we also, basically, we see there is a correspondence here already with Mother Eve, who ate. And of course, Eve equals 5 and Eve ate. That's the two things, or the two factors that has bring everything into a standstill, or into motion, we should say. So, into motion. So, of course, we learn that Adam and Eve, they was walking in the garden and everything was okay, or whatever okay meant. But, of course, it seemed like that life as we know it would not really come into being unless Eve and Adam had eaten of the fruit. Now, this may be, you may want to debate on this point, but we can see that, of course, at the stage where God breathed into man's nostril and he became a living soul. The word living, actually, which has L-I-V-E or L-I-V-I-N-G, we would say that this really is saying Eve was really there. Eve in, or living, or Eve and in. We have those words here, so it's living is saying there is a beginning and end right there as well, because the word in or I is beginning and N is end. So it's just to give you a little breakdown on this. We also see if it's the word leave, it has the word Eve right there in it as well. Right here is Eve. It is an I here because, of course, with the L at the beginning, this is how we do in the English language, that it is really Eve. Okay, so this is just to really have this little illustration here. But we have had another series of numbers and equations that really show that the 8 is corresponding with the cycle, the last cycle, as I have done a video in the afterlife. Basically, the number 8 is like the final stage of your development, or this is your test, your final test. So according to the template, and it falls into the Ice Age. We use those terms here because it helps us understand the functions at the different stages of development that takes place. So there's the C and there's the HQZ. Because we have been working intuitively, this is really saying this is headquarters zone, and this is the 8 here. Of course, once you've gone to headquarters zone, automatically you would be settling your dues with the Inland Revenue. You would be settling your papers, because everything, as we know, as long as it's in headquarters, you are accountable. There is no escape in that. So this is where Mother Eve, of course, is in this stage. This is where we are at now, Mother Eve. When I say this is where we are at, we are really here. But this is reflecting because 8 is actually reflective of 4. Why is it reflective of 4? When we do the numerical value for the word 8, E-I-G-H-T, okay, this is 59782. Adding this together this is 19, 26, 31. 3 plus 1. Now, most of the numbers we have been talking about is like 31 or 13, like we have with He. And this is where God created man in His own image and likeness. He created he, him, he, them, and we see those references are made there. But also the he, them, He created he, him, and he, them, gives us an insight to the God figure in that creation. There is another thing that's very pronounced in all of this is the crucifixion, or Christ with the 12 disciples, or the Last Supper to be more precise. So at the Last Supper, of course, around the table, probably every Christian has one of those pictures in their house where Christ and the disciples are sat at the table or seated at the table, and this is where Christ is saying, or they break bread and say, anytime you eat or you break of this bread, remember me, or when you drink of this wine, it is my blood. So basically, I have done a lot of talking on this one. There's a ritual that takes place, or an anchoring that takes place in this ceremony. So I call it a ceremony right now. It's a ritual here because, of course, Christian practice or having communion regularly in anchoring on this ceremony. So when they have, because I used to be a Christian or practice this Christianity in that sense of that tradition. So when you have the communion, you have it in remembrance that you are taking in the Christ spirit or the Christ force, or you're remembering Christ. So there is Christ's body. So this is like synergizing. You're synergizing with Christ in this sense. Or when you drink of the wine, you are really synergizing with Christ, that it is his blood. And it makes me smile because I'm almost saying, well, no wonder as well. Perhaps it's not to put on the same scale at all, but alcohol is can be so addictive as well, because there is it has got a strong message with it, apart from that it does what it does. Okay, all right, I hope you get what I'm saying here. So here I thought, for instance, we have 8. We have seen that Mother Eve had 8 lettings, and we are on the final letting. This is where we are creating man in our image after our likeness. This is what Mother Eve has invited us to do. So there is 8 here. Now there was another thing that I did, yes, on the Beatitudes of Christ teaching, where Christ would say, blessed be the poor, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed be the meek, for they shall see God, and so on. So there was also 8. In fact, it's arguable that it's 9, but because the last 2 entries of those Beatitudes are very close, it is often seen as 8. So that is very symbolic. We see the message is consistent here. Basically, what I am saying, that the messages are consistent, but we have not been taught to see the similarities in them as much as they are through numerology, but to see them as separate. And then we start saying, well, my religion is better than yours. I've got the truth. And our religion, we are the chosen, and so on. And that creates another, it's another issue altogether. But I believe that the Torah as well is also, according to Mother Eve, is also a biblical or mathematical construct, not a biblical or mathematical construct, just as the Bible is. But of course, there are stories and there are themes and practices that are also significant for our development. Basically, everything has its purpose. What has happened, as the story of Eve shows us, that there is a kindergarten stage of learning, of being and developing in the spiritual sense. So hence we had the story of Adam and Eve, the way we have been taught that Eve ate of the fruit and the forbidden fruit and gave to Adam, and so on. I think we all have been taught in that traditional way. Now we see through on this channel, Crime A Queen, that we have seen that we are not the original or first people, that we are a result of an experiment. Now that result of this experiment also tells me that there would be, why we have the he here, the 2 he's, which we have, we associate with the masculine gender. So it means that this he is not necessarily masculine, but we have had a general, the collective energy has portrayed it that way. So it's not necessarily about he being male or female. That's another thing. But we have seen that the female also has a male in the word female as male. So male is generally associated with the masculine. What I want to say here is, we see the word male, M-A-L-E, and female, female. Both words have got this male, so they both have male hair. But what has happened is in the he and her that the male have now adopted. So there's he and there's her. But we see that this has been attributed. Let me get a pen. Excuse me. So he has been attributed to the masculine, not just he. He has hair. He has been attributed to 13, but he is also part of her. So we have seen that hair. So basically, we could see that why there would be two 13s in he and her, male and female, that which have been attributed to both male and female. So rightly we could say that we are moving, or we have moved into the feminine aspect of he. So he is also feminine hair in the sense of gender. So this is how we say God is both male and female. This is also how we can say 13 plus 13 is 26, 2 plus 6 is 8. Of course, we know, we acknowledge that we have got this the and yod hair, but we will work with this and see how we can do, or how we can relate to the overall value in numerology here and in terms of the Bible. So let's begin with the letters here that has been associated with these, and I'm not quite sure how these have how they have arrived at the I as Y, but I'm just saying that I'm just going by these, because as I say, this is not really my speciality, but I'm just seeing how these letters have all have got similarities or the same parallel on Christianity or the Holy Bible. Okay, I'm trying to get a pen that writes. Okay, so so if we add the numerical value for I, as in 9, and 8 here, and 4 for the V, and 8 again, and add these together, we can see this is 17, this is 21, this is 29, 2, 9. 2 plus 9 is 11. So we have 11. Now that 11 corresponds to the word, which is, it corresponds to Christ, as we have, or Jesus rather, Jesus. It corresponds to light, when of course when Christ says you are the light of the earth, or we say Christ is the light in the scriptures. So the Son of God, the light of, oh, I don't clearly remember, but let's see how this light come into being here, or 11. So 11, the word 11, L-E-V-E-N, just looking at this. So this is 5, 3, 5, 4, 5, 5. Adding these together, this is 10, 15, 20, 27. 2 plus 7 equals 9. So now we've got 9 here, of course. We can see that 9, if we do the numerical value for 9, it gives us 6. N-I-N-E. And this is 5, 9, 5, 5. Of course, is 15, 24 is 6. So now, what I want to show here, if we just keep these in mind, so 11, however, we first had 11, and then we had, of course, 11 is 9, and so on. 11 takes us right into the middle spectrum of the template, which is where Mother Eve has been really getting us to be here. This is in Christianity when it says when you are in Christ, you are a new creature. So this new creature here that you would be would be in the middle of numbers from 1 to 9. This is the 5 that you would be because you are now in Christ. Now, of course, the numbers, each row that we have calculated gives us a common denominator, which is 6 in this case. So when we add, of course, we have this by adding 3 5s 15, 1 plus 5 is 6. Of course, we have this as the template pass of the template, numbers 1 to 9. Adding 5 plus 6 together gives us 11. This is how we have been working on this template. And I have not really planned this. This is going by our intuition here. So 11 here is really telling us that it's showing us that we are new. And I also attribute this L as 11 as well, as in Revelation is there to help us uncover the deep meaning and secrets of the scriptures. So 11 is really two strokes, but we as creators or co-creators or creation in action. So we have an L. So basically this is one stroke and the other stroke here. So this stroke here, which forms the L, like in Revelation, because Revelation is not just openly exposed. It's that sort of thing you need to seek wisdom to find a revelation in something. That's why Revelation is perhaps one of the most challenging of books of the Bible to understand. So we can see that these two strokes that form L is indicative of Mother Eve's first letter of the first word when she says, "Let there be light," and there was light. So Mother Eve is the sent God, the God that encompasses all the 14 gods. And Mother Eve is the one who has the speech. This is the speech that is said in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God. And this is also Mother Eve, who was the serpent in the Garden of Eden. It's also Mother Eve who played the part of Satan in the Garden of Eden. The devil, if you like, because the word devil in this sense is lived. D-E-V-L-I-L, D-E-V, of course, V again. I-L is L-I-V-E-D. Of course, Mother Eve is here. This is the thing that, again, in the word live, L-I-V-E, or the word life, we see Mother Eve is right there. So basically, and of course, we have seen Mother Eve is the serpent that was present in the garden. Basically, everything is from Mother Eve, because it is said that God, Adam named his wife Eve because she was the mother of all living. Now let's bear in mind the word was, which we associate as past tense, also has in it W-A-S. It also has in it as. The word as is bringing the present to mind. I hope you can understand that. And of course, bringing the present to mind, it has the value of 11, 1, 1, just as we are talking. Now, when we do the numerical value of the word 11, as I say, it does give us the numerical value of 9. So we see how 9 has showed up of course, we had 9 and is from 1 to 9. We also have 3 sets of 9s because the blocks are 369, 369, 369. That's the template we have. And also when we do the numerical value for the word 9, didn't we have 6? Of course. So, of course, this is 6 that we have here. So we can see that from here so far we've got some very strong correlation. Now, so this is just adding these numbers together. Okay, and we have also seen the correlation with the 2 13s. It's like I've been saying that there were 2 creations. It's as if that we are being given the opportunity to have 2, it's like the mirror aspect of ourselves as well. So that's something to really examine here. Of course, this is said to be like the figure of man. Another thing that happens here, this is of 4 segments as we have seen, and it shows it's, well, the explanation I had was we see that it's like a figure of a person. Okay, I may have to do a bit more on this later, but let's look at the numerical value for the words that we have here. Yod now, and it'd be good to keep the features, the 2 8s we are seeing here, which kind of present, we could say, Adam and Eve ate. They both ate of the fruit. We've seen 4 as foundation here as well. 9 is that completion. I'm just putting it like this right there. Okay, so YOD is 7, 6, 4. Adding this together is 17. So 1 plus 7, if we add this together, is 17. 1 plus 7 is 8. So we have 8 here. This is 8. And and add this together, we have 4. This is 4, 13. So this is 4. And of course, VAU would be 413. So this is 8. Now we have 8. 413, so this is 8. And here, he, of course, is 4. So we have got 2 8s and 2 4s here. If we were to add this together, would be 24. 2 plus 4 is 8. Let's see. No, 3 8s, yeah, that would be 24. 2 plus 4 is 6. Now, for me, this is saying as well, this is telling us that we are number 6, the number of man, and also going by the scriptures, I have seen how the God number has shown us to be number 6. If we do the numerical value for the word 6, it gives us 7, which is 1, 9, 6. So this is 15, 16. 1 plus 6 is 7. 7 has been the number, of course, as I say, we are ending this cycle. The other thing, if we do this the numerical value for 7, it gives us 2. And 2 now takes us into the let's just show you. So 2 takes us here in that wholesome, that bond stage. This is the bond where I say that Christ was with the disciples. Takes us back into this 13. This would be like the 13. And when they come to the agreement, they come to an equal agreement, like shaking hands, or the equal sign, the 2 dashes. They form their bond right there. And that becomes, they become whole. This is why it is said when you break we have the B here. It's like the B is there to remind when you break, to do this, when you break bread. They both begin with the letter B, and blood, of course, is B as well. So this is very significant in telling us that the B is very powerful, because B is actually 13. And 13, of course, is actually God. When we write the word 13, it gives us 9, of course, but 9 is actually on our scale, like 9 is the I. So it has the numerical value of I, but the word I, E-Y-E, just to show you, which is a 3 letters, E-Y-E, is 575. Add this together is 17. So, which is in direct correlation with the word God, G-O-D, which is 764. Add this together is 17. There we are. So 1 plus 7, of course, is 8. So we can see how these numbers here have taken us, 24 has taken us, 24 actually is like 24 hours of the day, was hours of the day. And of course, when we hear of days as well, that equals 13. So basically, we can see that God is very present here, even in this figure here. So I'm just thinking that, yeah, so we had an overall, because I'm using we had an overall figure of 24, which 2 plus 4, yeah, is 6. Yes, this is what we had. And just ensuring that I've double checked this. Okay, yeah, 13 is 4, 13 is 4, and that's consistent. So another thing that was important to really note, when we do the numerical value for the word 8, E-I-G-H-T, because we have been going by the symbols, but let's go by the word form. I would like you to see the writing on here. This is 2. Oh, let's get another pen. Okay. So this is 2, 8, 7, 9, 5. Okay, so this is 10, 19, 26, 31. 3 plus 1. So we can see how 8 becomes 4 as well. 8 is also 4. So if we were to do this, for instance, or you just use the word form, it'd be interesting, because 4 here would be 4 is 6. So this would be 4. This would be 4, 31 plus 6. That would be 10. And then we would have another 10 here, which would be 20. And really still takes us back to that 2. Wasn't it the same thing that we got? This is really incredible. So we had 11 when we added all this, which was 8. But when we do the word form of 8, so 8 is 4. We have seen this. And 4, F-O-U-R, is 6, 3, 6. Oh, pens. 6, 3, 6, 6. Adding these together, 3 6 is 18, 19, 20, 21. Have I got this correct? This is, oh, here we should have 9. Okay, so this is 12, and this would be plus 6, 12 plus 12, 24 here. So 2 plus 4 is 6. Okay, so basically if we had 4, we did 8, which gives us 4, and 4, which gives us 6, then this would be 10. So this repeating itself would be 20. Of course, we would have the same sum as we did when we added these all together, and it gave us, I think, 24. Was it 24? 3 8s are 24. It would not be the same because I had 11. Somehow I'm thinking about 11 when I had 11, or it would give us, that's 11. This was 11 here. 11 was here. Okay. So that's what we would be having. It would be reflecting this here. Okay. But again, I was going to say adding these two together, but that is not necessary, but we would have 8. But this is, we can see the connection. Apart from it having the value of 26, which gives us 8, we can see the connection of how the number 8 is still very much alive there in the 2s, and there's a pattern as well. So we have 8, 4, 8, 4. There's a pattern as well, which is saying here there is a or we could say this is how the day came into being as well, that we could say that like 24 hours, but it also coincides because this is like the 2 creations in here, and the 12, this coincides with Mother Eve's first spell, when Mother Eve says, "Let there be light," and there was light. And bear with me while I show you this. And I hope I've got it written on something that I don't have to do the whole, okay. Okay, just looking at the time, and hopefully I could put this. So when Mother Eve said, "Let there be light," I won't do the sum again for 2 reasons, for the timing on here, and I have done this. So let, of course, is 3, 5, 2, and this is 10. That gives us 10. So 10 is 1, there is 2, B is 7, light is 2. We can see how the 11s are reflecting here. And there was light, L-I-G-H-T, is the same numbers, which is 1, which is 2, which is 7, and which is 11. It's the same numbers. This really is very profound in confirming the numerical construct of the scriptures. So I'm just going to put this in, or add this quickly so you can see this is 3, 7, 10, 11, 12. And here we have 1, of course it's 12. 12 plus 12 is 24. So we can see the original, or the scriptures here is in direct correlation with what we have just added here as 24. 24 is right here. This is Mother Eve spell right here. This is it. So we have 12 plus 12 is 24. Okay, and this is really saying, "Let there be light," and there was light. It has the same numerical value, hence we could say it has the same frequency, the same construct in numerology, of course, because that's where Mother Eve said, "Let there be light," and there was light. Okay, so I hope you have seen the point how we've been trying to put here. So, and of course, it's something to look into deeper. And I wanted to do this because I also wanted to show more on the crucifixion, which I have done. So thank you for joining me. I hope you, as I say, I hope you have found something from this. Please leave your comments, like and subscribe, and do, of course, share. All right. Namaste.